I don't even know how to start this video. It's one of those things that often happens when you're looking for the perfect way to say exactly what you want to say and you can't find it. And you get to the point where you realize that the only way to say it is to actually just say it, but there's no way you can say it that looks or sounds exactly the way you're feeling about saying it in your mind. So you think about all kinds of ways. I mean, I do. I think about all kinds of ways. Do I write a script? Do I look for B-roll? Do I find quotes? But then I always fall to this point where I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to wing it. I'm just going to say the way it comes and however long it comes, because I know where I want to get to. I just don't know how to get there yet. And that's the same thing with this video. I know what I'm saying. I know it wasn't clickbait. It's actually going to be a while before you see me here again. And there's a reason for that. So this video serves as more like an explanation, because when you give me your time and your attention and then I just disappear and I don't show up, you need, some level of, hey, what's going on here? So I've thought about all kinds of ways. I've tried to look for quotes in the book, tried to Google, but it all comes down to the same thing, that it's something that is clear, that even if I don't understand it, if I don't know exactly how to go about it, it's something that has to be done. And what has to be done in this very specific case is that I need to take a break. Not like a break where I disappear and go into a cave and then try to find my chakras or something, but more like, it's more around a quote from Tim Ferriss that I've been thinking about recently. I mean, I first came across a quote when I was reading The 4-Hour Work Week, which I still haven't finished for reasons that you'll find out during this video. And the quote is, being busy is a form of laziness, indiscriminate thinking, and let me find it. Being busy is a form of laziness, lazy thinking, and indiscriminate action. And we live in a world where almost everybody is too busy. Like, people are either traveling or going up in life or getting a new job or moving to another town, or just basically, moving like in the direction that they were supposed to be moving in life. I don't know about you, but it looks like Facebook, social media, and all those platforms, you're more likely to find only the things up, like this person got a new job or moved to a new place. There are people who will talk about everything, I want to say balance, but when bad things happen, they express it. And that's why I still like social media, because not everybody uses it in the same way. Some people use it to balance out. Like, if they didn't have those platforms, they'll not even have a place where to air their opinions. And that can be difficult if you don't feel like you're being listened to or heard. And social media has clearly helped a bunch of people to feel like it. For example, in many writers groups that I know, many people spend time complaining about writing, which sort of defeats the point of being a writer. But then I feel like if they didn't even have this place to complain about these things, then what would have happened? They'll just have to, drink their sorrows away or something. But that's not the point of this video. It's more like, I feel that I've been trying for the past 7 weeks, I think 8 weeks almost now, to do a lot of things. I've been posting twice on this channel, making new snippets of videos to put on Facebook and LinkedIn and all these other platforms. And I tried to write on Medium, but I couldn't do it while I was doing that. I just recently had a full-time job, so 40 hours a week I'm working, and then when I come back and I'm tired, I'm trying to do that, also trying to be present as a partner in my marriage. So there's a lot of things that are going on, that have been going on, that I thought I could just wing it, just handle it, just deal with it. Like, hey, it's a hustle. You need to find time to write, find time to make videos, find time to still do good as a human being, do your job well, be present in your relationship. So there are a lot of things that I want to do. But then I feel like one thing, I got a comment recently that really got me thinking about all of this, where a friend pointed out a pattern that she had observed in one of my videos, which when I look back now has been present in like a lot of the videos. And then it got me thinking about the truth of that comment. I mean, I'm not going to talk about the comment now, it's just something that is personal. But it got me thinking, like when you think you know something, or you think I'm not saying you think you're smart, when you think you've figured out exactly where you're headed, and then somebody points out something that makes you realize, like, yeah, you're right. I did not think about this. And now that you point it out, I can see it now in those other patterns. So that's what happened for me. That's what triggered this whole feeling of, I think I'm missing something here. And when I say here, I don't just mean YouTube. I mean like in the whole point of, why am I doing this? Like, why am I writing on Medium? Why am I making a podcast? Why am I doing YouTube videos? Am I just doing this because I can, or because I actually have a long-term goal? So that comment, including the fact that I was reading this book, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and then reading Mindset, and all trying to deal with all these things, like having to deal with things at work that I never had to deal with, it put me in a mind space of really, going back to see myself. And I don't know about you, but sometimes when I was thinking of starting this video, I was thinking of starting it with, an anecdote. Like, let's say you want to go out, or no, you don't want to, your friends want you to go out, say to have a drink or just hang out and chat. And then you think about it and you're like, actually, I don't want to do this, but then you don't have a good reason. I mean, your reason is literally that you don't want to do it. Like, you're tired, you want to stay home, and you're trying to think about all these other reasons that could make sense. Like, oh, I'm not feeling well, I need to rest, or somebody in my family is sick, or I don't have the money. Like, you're trying to pile up these reasons that make sense so that the other people will let you be. So I'm in this place where when I say, for example, that I need to take a break because I need to figure out something, I'm like, I don't think my reason is even good enough. I think I need to find something more tangible. Like, all right, maybe I should have like a powerful reason that when I bring up and tell you this is the reason, you're, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. I get it. But then my reason is really that I don't know why I'm doing this. And that's it. Like, I know that I can do it. I know that I want to do it, but I don't know why I'm doing it. And I feel that's dangerous because as I'm piling up all these things and doing all these projects and not knowing why I'm doing it, it brings me the question of, am I even aware of what I'm sacrificing? Am I even aware of what I'm losing by doing these other things? Because this all got me thinking of when you pursue a goal, say you want to build a business, or you want to have a very happy marriage, or you want to raise a kid. If you're not even aware of why you're doing it, there's a tendency for you to forget what is necessary and what isn't. For example, when I look at my videos, I'm like, okay, I'm doing these videos because I want to help creatives, but I'm like, which creatives? And why do I feel like I can help them? Not who gave me the reason, or like, what is the goal and what is the outcome? What is the long-term goal that I would never accomplish? Why? Because if you have a goal that is easily accomplishable, when you're done with that goal, then you have to look for a different goal. And it looks like that rat race of, all right, when I'll be happy when I get $1,000 saved, or I'll be happy when I get $5,000 saved, I'll be happy when I get $1 million, I'll be happy when, I'll be happy when. So when there's a goal that is very specific of, when I get to this specific point, I will have succeeded. I think it's dangerous. It's good to have signposts. It's good to have things like, all right, this shows that I'm working towards the direction I want to go. And I feel like I've put a signpost of, I want to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I want to, that was like one big signpost that I put for this year. And then I think about it, I'm like, why? Why do I want to get 1,000 subscribers? So when I ask that question now, it's like, who are those 1,000 subscribers I'm looking for? And when I think back to Kevin Kelly's article of 1,000 true fans, I'm like, what am I expecting of these people and what should they be expecting of me? So to make things a little bit more clear, I feel like I'm running this rat race of, let me put out content, let me follow all this advice about using social media, let me make videos because I can make videos, let me write articles because I can write, let me do these things because I can do them. But there's no goal, there's no thing like, okay, this is the world that I want to see. So when I was thinking about all of this, which got me to the point of, okay, let me take a break and figure this out, it was more like, I don't see the world that I'm trying to build. I don't have a picture of where I'm heading in terms of the journey that I'm taking. I don't see the purpose of making YouTube videos. Yeah, I do see comments that show like, okay, this is good, this is nice, this makes me, but it's not clearly defined for me. It might work for you in this particular case where you're like, yeah, I like these videos, I want to be motivated. But then I'm like, if my goal is to motivate people, what are those things in the videos that should be there to motivate people? And is it just to motivate people to do things, or is that they should motivate them to do particular action? And then how would I know if I've succeeded in my goal? How would I know if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing on my terms for whatever it is that I'm creating? And right now I feel like I don't know that. I feel like I'm looking at the wrong metrics, numbers, views, and I've not defined the metrics that actually would make me feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So when it comes to work, for example, the metrics are very clear. Like, all right, this is what we want, this is the percentage that we want for this. If you hit this goal, you're meeting the metrics. It's very clear, it's written there, you show up at this time, you do your job, here are the rules, here are the resources, get it done. And when you do it, the feedback is clear, you're doing your job well. So in this particular scenario, when it comes to YouTube specifically, and what I'm creating, and the kind of life that I want to live as a whole, I feel like I have defined some of those goals in certain areas that are, of course, are flexible. Like, those goals cannot be fixed in stone. It's like, If for example in your relationship, what your partner needed was somebody who could provide financially, and then you get to a point where that is met, like you're able to provide financially, and you feel like you've arrived and that's it, you're done. That's when you start feeling, because yeah, maybe at the time the goal was to be able to pay bills, pay rent, do all these things. But you get to a certain point where that goal is changing, where your partner needs other needs, and maybe she expresses that and you're like, but no, you wanted this particular thing and I've done it, why are you complaining? Then you fail to see that this is what it was, a signpost, it was a milestone. It wasn't the goal. The goal was a happy marriage, and the happy marriage is never something that you arrive at. It's something that you're always working on, it's something that you're always iterating, something that you're always checking in to find out if it's working. So when I take the example of the marriage and I look at now the life that I want to live as a creative, what do I define my success, like a long term, like, okay, this is where I'm heading towards as a creative, what is that? So when I see the feedback that I'm getting towards on my videos, I see the conversations I'm talking with people who actually watch and give me comments and reflecting about what I'm trying to do and how I'm trying to do it. Like, when I think of the whole idea of trying to hurry to put out content, and I watch these other videos and then I ask myself, like, but these are the kind of videos that I want to make. Why am I not making them? Is the problem that I don't have the computer that I want? I don't have the skills that I want? Things like, for example, why is my book not out yet? Is it that I don't have the money to pay for an editor, or that I want to do it myself? Like, if I want to do it myself, why do I want to do it myself? And if I want to pay for somebody, what will it take for me to pay for that? What is it that I'm looking for? So because those things are not defined, I find myself in this place where I feel like I'm hurrying. I'm hurrying to do all these things, and I don't even know where I'm hurrying to. And so I decided that, you know what? I need to slow down. And not slow down in like, all right, let me just put out one video and then slow down. There was this conversation as well, was, am I slowing down because I don't feel competent enough to handle it? Like, can I not take that break by simply defining the time and still putting out 2 videos a week? Is it not something that I could possibly do? Like, why do I have to remove myself from the equation? And it goes back to the thing of looking for a good reason to tell your friends that you cannot go out with them. I don't actually have a good reason per se. It's more of, there's been a long-lasting problem that I've refused to address because I thought that I could handle it by doing it all. I am not organized. I don't have clearly defined long-term goals. I don't know what I'm actually working towards. Like, I haven't even defined what I have, what I want, and what the goal is. For example, if you take my podcast, I have the equipment. I have a computer, I have internet access, I have people who are willing to talk. I actually have unedited episodes. So the question now is, why are these episodes not online yet? Well, I would say, well, I don't have the time. So the question is, excuse me, the question is it that I don't have the time, or I haven't made the time to do it? And if I haven't made the time, what else is taking my time? Like, oh yeah, well, I have work. I'm like, okay, yeah, work is clearly giving you money to pay for certain things. Can you not wake up early? I'm like, well, I can. So why aren't you waking up early? Well, because I stay up late trying to do this thing. So there's a lot of things that are linked in this whole aspect of hurrying to make all these things without defining what these things are. Because when I look at it, I keep saying yes to projects that I should have said no to simply because I did not define what I wanted. And I think that's a big issue that I need to address. An issue of, because you're talented and you're skilled in many things, it doesn't mean that you have to do all those things at the same time. And so if you're not going to do all those things at the same time, what are those things that you're going to do and why? Because if you don't define those things, if you don't, I could say convince yourself that's what you need to do, you find yourself doubting, like, should I be making YouTube videos now? Or should I be following a podcast now? Or do I have to be writing now? Like, what am I doing? So because you're not present in the moment to do what you said you were going to do, you're wasting energy, providing subpar quality in whatever you're going to make, and then not doing the other thing that you think you should be doing. So it ends up being this rat race of, I'm hurrying, I'm making all this content, but I don't feel like I'm heading anywhere. And that's how I've been feeling for, I think, 2 weeks now. Maybe I can't even define exactly what. It's more of, I'm doing all these things, I'm making progress, I'm getting feedback on my videos, but I don't feel like it's where, or it's heading towards where I want it to be. Because when I start my videos on saying, oh, I'm a creative, I'm a husband and a writer, I'm a storyteller, I want to do this, I want to do that. And when I watch these videos, I'm like, I don't know if that's entirely true. I don't know if that's who I am, or maybe that's who I was, but I don't know if that's a long-term goal that when I sit there and I'm dying, I'm like, yeah, I did what I wanted to do. So the way I'm looking at it, there's a broader theme that I'm following. I've sort of started figuring out exactly that theme, and I need to now clearly define what the theme is. I've had some help to get, okay, this is the idea, what is it going towards? Because when I watch videos that I'm inspired by, videos from people like Better Ideas or Matt Diavella, I'm like, these guys are clearly filmmakers who have, years of experience under their belt. But when I watch their videos, I see that it's not so much about experience. I mean, experience counts, but it's more of the intention. The intention behind their videos is clearly stated, maybe not verbally like, oh, I am Matt Diavela and I make videos for this. It's more like you have a mission statement and then every video basically answers a part of that mission statement. For me, it's like every video for me has a specific mission statement and every video answers that specific mission statement. So each time I come out to make a video, I literally have to define what it is because it hasn't been defined yet. So yeah, it's I'm going to be taking off the rest of the year, like 2019, to define that intention. I'm going to be talking with people, probably reaching out to you. If you're okay with me reaching out to you to ask some questions, like a questionnaire type, more like a conversation about what you've watched so far, what you've read, what you think. Not even what you think, it's more of your opinion on certain things that could help me, that could juggle my mind. Because I make these videos with things that I think I'm doing, but then I realize that I'm making this video for the wrong audience. I'm making it thinking about one audience, but the output is talking to a different audience. It's quite annoying when I think about when I watch the videos and I look at them like, but this is not what I wanted to say. Why do I say it this way? And even the whole brand that I'm trying to build, I'm looking at it like I'm doing this and it's borderline selfish. It's like I'm doing these videos because I want to. And I don't like how that sounds. In terms of, I don't want to do things because I want to. I want to do them because they are necessary. It's like doing good because you feel like being good is good, instead of doing good because you feel like being good is the good thing to do. I don't even know if I think it's a very subtle difference between doing the right thing because it's the right thing and doing the right thing because you think it's the right thing. I don't want to think that the videos that I'm making are for a specific audience. I want to do it because I know what I'm looking for and I want that audience to understand that this is for them. So the whole year, literally everything I've been studying with this video, there's been 3 things that have come up. The idea of creativity, relationships, and immigration. And there was even a time where I was like, I don't want this whole thing to be about immigration, about being in a new country. Oh, it's been a year since I left Cameroon and this is how the world is different and this is how what has changed. I'm like, yeah, that's great. That's interesting to watch. But is that what I want to do for the rest of my life? Talking about how different things are, talking about what is changing in my life, about culture, about comparison, making lists of, oh, I wish I had learned this, I wish I had learned that. Like, when I watch people that I'm inspired by, I get the value of things that they wish they had done. I get the comparison of the different cultures they are dealing with. But it's not a thing where the video is just about that. And I feel like my videos are just about those specific areas of my life that I feel that are important. And when I watch them, I'm like, that's not it. This is not it. This is not why I was doing this whole thing. This is not why I write. This is not why I make a podcast. This is not why I make videos. This is not what I want you to end up with. And for me to answer that question, I need to think. I need to ask questions. I need to reflect. I haven't had time to read. I haven't had time to write. I haven't had time to sit with my own thoughts. It's like I'm just generating all these videos. It may seem like not a lot. Like it's just 2 videos a week, bro. Chillax. But you don't understand what it means to take out time from a 40-hour week and other aspects of life to make these videos the way, I would always say perfectionist, the way I want to make them. I feel like I'm making these videos the way I feel like I should make them, but they are just not right. They're not right, and you deserve better in terms of my existence. I know it's one of these broad philosophical ideas like, well, who do you think you are to think that you're so important that you need to find the right way to, but then it goes back to that whole thing like, do I need to find a reason that satisfies you or a reason that satisfies me? If I pick what I want to do and I'm not convinced myself because I think that that's what you want, then I always end up double checking everything and I don't give myself 100%, and I feel like I'm not giving that 100% in terms of what I could be doing or what I could be learning. So to round things off, I'll be off from YouTube for the next 2 months, and maybe I'll actually figure it out in less time than I think that I need. But given that the year is ending and my wife's birthday is next week and there are all these things happening at work, and personally I'm dealing with new changes that I never thought I had to deal with, it's a good time to take the end of the year and just get things sorted out. Like, you know what is this? What am I doing? Why am I doing it? And what am I getting from it? And in a very selfish way of looking at, what is the world that I want to build? What would that take? And where do I need to start? Because in the end, I'm not going to end up after these 2 months with like, okay, this is the mission, this is the goal, and I'm going to achieve it in 10, 20, 30 years. What I'm looking for is more of a lifelong pattern. I want to do something that only I can do, knowing that every single day I'll be changing, and that will keep being changing. Like when you have a mission statement of your life, when you become a father, it changes. When you become a husband, it changes. When you move to a new country, it changes. But there are certain core aspects of that mission that do not change. And it's that core that I'm looking for when it comes to my talents, my gifts, my skills. What is this all going to be about? Is it just going to be a selfish thing where I show up here and be like, hey, I can speak English. I can edit videos sort of okay. I can write. Enjoy the writing. Because if that's the case, then I've failed, and I don't want to feel that way. And I don't even judge it based on what the comments are, because the comments have been good. Like, I've really enjoyed making this. There's no aspect of it I'm regretting. I'm not regretting any of it. It's more of I've gotten to the point where I've done it enough to see cues that I'm not doing what I want. And I need to change that. So, to end this video, I'll just say this. My name is Kamga, and I expect a lot from myself. I've been supported by you watching this video and many more people in my life. I'm getting feedback that shows that I do have what it takes to succeed, and then now I need to define what that success is on my own terms. I think the world tends to push things towards us, tends to make us want to think that what we want is either too small or too big. Everybody feels entitled to tell you what you should be doing with your life or what you shouldn't do. And it gets you to a point where you start wondering what you were sent here for. I've gotten to that point where it's no longer so much about what people are saying, the comments that I'm getting, whether it's from my parents, from my spouse. It's more of when I look at what I'm doing, what I expect from myself, I find that there's a discrepancy. And it's time to slow down. When Tim Ferriss says laziness, being busy is a form of laziness, I finally get it. If you don't make the time to define what you want, you don't even know what you're losing. If you don't make the time to define what you're going to sacrifice to achieve your goal, then you don't even know what you're sacrificing. If you're building this business at the detriment of your family, and you end up with a big business, lots of money, and you start regretting, like, I wish I had taken more time to spend with my family. Or if you're hanging out with your family every single day instead of working on your side hustle, and after years you feel like you've not accomplished your goal, and you blame everybody in your family for not making those decisions for you, in the end, you actually just have to blame yourself. Because you were so busy doing everything you thought you were supposed to be doing instead of taking the time to define what that would look like. And when I look at my life now with how much time there is as a human being, I don't want to end up decades down the road and say, you did this, you made this comment that made me change my mind, it's your fault, I was working to provide for my family, I was trying my best. That's not who I want to be. So instead of having to get to that point and regret, I'm taking the time now to define that and then come back ready. So if you haven't subscribed yet, do. Turn on the notification button, because the next time I post a video, it's going to be a video that I am proud of. A video that contains a mission, a long-term goal that a video is supposed to be. It's not just going to be about being an immigrant. It's not just going to be about being a creative or coming from Cameroon or comparing Cameroon to the US or trying to give you advice about why I have the world's best relationship and you don't. I don't think that's what I want to do. I want to tell stories that cause people to make decisions that are based on their perspective. I don't want to tell you what to do. And I feel like that's what I've been doing. Using my example and saying this is what happened to me, this is what worked for me, maybe it worked for you. I don't want that. The videos that inspire me are not videos that people tell me what to do. They are videos that get me to think for myself. And in the end, that's what I want to do. I want to get people to think for themselves. Whether you're in Cameroon, whether you're in the US, wherever you are, I believe in the human capacity to achieve dreams. I believe also that human beings are capable of making things worse for every other person. That parents say things that destroy children's lives. That spouses say things that cause other spouses to feel bad about themselves. That you can work for years at a job you don't like because you don't have the courage to find a way to transition from working to doing your own thing. The internet provides us with a lot of things, but it has never stopped us from being human. It has never stopped us from being affected by peer pressure, by feeling demoralized, feeling demotivated, feeling that because you're in a place like Cameroon, you can never do anything with your life. Or that because you're in the US, everything should work so great that you should never complain about anything. Because you're anywhere in the world, you look around you and you think that your problems are too small or that they're too big. And I want to be the person who reminds you that you're capable of so much more than that. However you look, wherever you are from. And for that to happen, I need to start with myself. I need to find a way to tell you that you deserve better than what you have. And if you choose to make things differently, you can. So remember, if you feel like your life is so busy that you don't have time for the things that you care about, if you feel like your life is full of all kinds of things that you have to go out tonight, you have to hang out, you have to make these calls, you keep forgetting the important things. Maybe you're being lazy by being busy. Maybe you're not taking the time to organize yourself and decide what do you want and what don't you want. Because if you think that not choosing is a way of deciding that whatever the chips fall, that'll be fine, neutral is a stance. There was a time when I thought you could either pick one side or the other, that you had to pick a stance. But when you don't pick a stance, you've picked a stance. Being neutral is stating, this is where I am. But the problem is we don't consciously pick those stances. We let things happen. And I don't want to let this life happen to me. I'm choosing to choose. And at the end of these 2 months, I know for sure that even if I don't get the answer that I'm looking for, taking the time to reflect is going to be so much more beneficial for me. I've been rushing, working, learning how to drive, learning how to be a better partner, learning how to deal with the stress of work. I haven't had even time to sit by myself for an hour and just be with my thoughts. And that's been for months. And I sit now, I'm like, no, this has to stop. So if you're feeling overwhelmed in the world, if you're feeling like you don't have time to do the things that matter to you, stop. You don't need a good reason. Take time off and deal with it. And when you come back, you thank yourself for it. This is a moment where you have to be selfish. When everybody's asking of you to do things of, you need to make time to talk to your parents, you need to make time to do your job, you need to make time to hang out with your kids. You need to make time for yourself too. Make time. You deserve it. Because when you break down and you can't handle things, the people that are counting on you will suffer as well. And then it just becomes this dark spiral of you're not capable of taking care of yourself, you're not capable of taking care of people that you care about, and you just feel worse and worse. And where do you think that would lead you to? I'm trying to stop now before that gets to a point where I feel like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, but not what I actually should be doing. And for me, it's time to stop.